In this presentation, I will discuss Douglas McGregor's Theory Why to the management style. In the working environment, every workplace is different. You have to ask yourself, is your workplace constantly controlled, supervised every step of the way, and have little input by its regular employees or hourly employees? And is there more management than seems necessary? If so, you do not work in a Theory Y environment. This would be a Theory X environment. Theory Y environment is completely different. Douglas McGregor was a social psychologist at MIT. He created two contrasting theories in the 60s. Theory X, which is more of an authoritative management style, where they control every step of the aspect of the job, whether it be production or any other job, they would control everything that was going on. And there may be more management than seems necessary. Theory Y is a more participative style of management. It allows for the workers and hourly employees to have more of a decision-making impact on the business. These theories look at how managers' perceptions of what motivates their team members affects the way they behave by understanding how your assumptions about employees' motivation can influence your management style. You can adapt your approach appropriately and so manage people more effectively. Both styles have been implemented since McGregor came up with the two theories, and sometimes even both of them have been used in the management style. Theory Y is the basis of good management practice. It believes that the workers are not just cogs in the working environment, but are valuable assets to the working environment. It is decentralized, and it assumes that employees are happy to work and are self-motivated and creative and enjoy working with greater responsibility. These employees have more input on the work at hand. They also have more ability to be more creative in their thinking and how they approach a subject or a problem in the workplace. Theory Y also gives more choices, whereas employees have more choices in what they can do, cross-train on jobs and learn different jobs, and lower level decision making, which means people from the bottom up have a chance to be able to make a decision or inform of something they think would make the organization flow better or work better. They encourage knowledge sharing between employees, no matter what level the employee is at, and are always striving for continuous improvement. These employees tend to be more productive because they are given more freedom to explore avenues and come up with their own ideas, and are not as supervised as heavily as a Theory X employee would be. Theory Y environments tend to be very organized because each individual person takes pride in their work and in the responsibilities that they have in the working environment. Theory Y also has more frequent promotion opportunities, and they also reward their employees more so than a Theory X environment. They offer incentives to keep their employees motivated and going in the right direction as they want them to be going in. Theory Y organizations that I have found usually consist of working professionals in an office setting or in some kind of more, not such a productive side, but more of an office setting or professional setting. Some of the environments that I can think of are on the top of my head. One of them would be the hospital in which I'm interning for the information technology department. And their organization, they believe in Theory Y because they believe that their employees are empowered. So everybody has a say, everybody contributes, and they're not highly managed. They can work individually or they can work as a team, but they are not constantly controlled or managed. They are able to do this all on their own. Some other places that have implemented Theory Y are call centers, which their representatives that answer the calls do have a call flow, and they do have certain criteria they do have to adhere by. But for the most part, they are able to make their own decisions. And this is to make the call go better for the customer so that representative can make more choices on their own instead of putting them on hold constantly or transferring them around. Some organizations that I know do use Theory Y are Oracle. They employ close to 80% of their workforce from home. These people work in their own homes and they have what they know needs to be done. They have their own responsibility and do not have to be directly controlled by a manager. They do have managers that they report to and get their assignments from, but they do not have to be supervised constantly in every step of the way. Microsoft and Google have also implemented Theory Y. They have implemented more of a fun working environment for their employees, such as Google encourages employees to get up away from their desks and play games such as basketball, pool, foosball, because they believe that great ideas come in a time when you're not specifically thinking of what you need to do or what needs to happen. They encourage play because how many times have you ever been out playing basketball with a friend or doing something fun or hanging out in a restaurant doing something and this idea comes to you and it's just great and you guys expand on it and just talk about it and it's such a great idea. Well, Google believes that is what is always happening. So that's why they encourage you to get up from your desk, away from your computer, and go out and interact with each other to come up with creative ideas on your own. And it works. Google is one of the best companies to work for, and this is one of the reasons why. If you were a manager, which style would you implement? Some organizations don't have a choice but to implement Theory X. Other organizations like to have Theory Y, and it works for them because their employees are motivated. Some organizations even do both Theory X and Y. An organization that I would think that would probably do Theory X and Y, maybe a production setting. And the reason I would say this is because in the production setting, you have your hourly employees that may have to be directly supervised at all times. The production has to be watched to make sure that the product is coming out as it's supposed to and it's coming through like it's supposed to. There has to be quality in the product that they're producing. So they may have the Theory X outlook on that part of the organization. Whereas in the main office with human resources and other departments and information technology, personnel, all of those may have the Theory Y approach because these individuals know their job and take responsibility for each individual job they have. So they can implement that type of management style. Resources that I used to look up this subject, I went to the Economist website and used the article Theories X and Y, which explains both theories and the difference between the two and kind of gives you an idea of how they're used in the workplace. I also used MindTool's website, and the article that I read was the Theory X and Theory Y, Understanding Team Member Motivation. This website is particularly useful because they also have worksheets and other kind of quizzes that test you to see what kind of manager you would be, if you would be a Theory X manager or a Theory Y manager. They have many other resources available as well. Another reading, if you're interested in expanding more on the Theory Y, is a book called Up the Organization, How to Stop the Corporation from Stifling People and Strangling Profits by Robert Townsend. This book especially goes on the Theory Y. It expands on that and how to run an organization using the Theory Y. This book was written in 1970 and still continues to be on one of the best sellers for business books there is. And it's been advised as a must read for any manager or anybody aspiring to be a manager. Although I have not read the book, I have read many reviews about it, and I've also read some of the excerpts from the book, and it seems like a very useful resource if you decide to become a manager or even work for an organization that you strive to be a manager in. And that is all for my presentation.